Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, welcome to another episode on the Hoops Crew Media Network. My name's Jake, and I'm joined in the virtual studio, not just by one, not just by two, but by three other gentlemen, Sambo, Johnny, and Ben. How are we, chaps?
Bloody fantastic.
Yeah, good. I'm really nervous about stepping on top of people.
I know.
I feel like an honorary chap, so thank you for including me on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. An honorary chap indeed. So yes, tonight, big episode on the Hoops Crew Media Network. One of the shows where we all jump in for, and that is the 2024 AFLW season preview. Can't wait to get into all of that. Quick bit of business to get out of the way before we jump into it. That is to say a big thank you to our Patreon subscribers on the Hoops Crew Media Network. We appreciate your support greatly. You can go and start a 7-day free trial now on the Hoops Crew Media Network Patreon. And another one, only the second night in a row that I get to do this one. So I'm still working out the kinks of it. And that is to say a big Hoops Crew Media Network thank you to our new media network sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist. They have been in Geelong since before the Cats were the Cats. That's right, 1915, Cyril Cook. You can go visit the website, www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au. That's Cook with an E. You can phone them up on 035 222 2244. And if you rock into their actual location, Shop 12, 11 Leather Street, Breakwater, you can go and get yourself a 20% discount in store by mentioning the Hoops Crew. We'd love for you to support the businesses that support us. But chaps, let's get into it. No more mucking around. Let's just dive straight into the 2024 AFLW season preview. A lot of talking from me off the top, and then I'm going to get out the way. We're going to start off by taking a look at last season now, just to refresh everyone's memories. The Cats, they got out of the gate hot. Big wins over the Bulldogs and Swans, 65-17 and 68-41, followed by a frustrating loss to the Kangaroos, a team that we still haven't beaten in the AFLW. We recovered from that disappointment with a road win over Port, and then we were blown off the park down at Cardinia Park by Melbourne, 74-25. Things got worse. We lost to the Bombers down in Warrnambool, and despite beating Freo the following week, we had a 30-24 loss to the Pies that left us at 4-4 and staring very much down the barrel of missing finals. Now, the Cats, they rallied hard. They rattled off a 38-point win over the Tigers at Icon Park, then a 60-20 dusting of the Hawks at KP to ensure they made the 8. Finals magic followed. The Cats got elimination final revenge over the Bombers in front of a raucous Cardinia Park crowd, racing to a 49-13 halftime lead before easing to a 51-33 win at full time. Aisling Maloney was brilliant. She registered 2 goals and 18 touches. That set up a semi-final against powerhouse Melbourne, and we showed up in a big way. The Cats stormed to a 43-13 lead at halftime, Nina Morrison and Amy McDonald leading the way. But a final quarter surge saw the Demons pull within 5 points just before the siren sounded, and we were off to a prelim final. Now, sadly, that was where the campaign ended in heartbreaking and rage-inducing fashion. It was a pretty angry night on Cats Twitter. Geelong went toe-to-toe with Brisbane. They led midway through the final term before the Lions snatched the lead and refused to relinquish it. There's a lot of steps forward for the Cats in 2023, Ben, but they fell one step short of the biggest day of all. What are your sort of lingering reflections on the 2023 campaign?
Jack, I'm still upset about it. I'll tell you what, I haven't gotten over it. It felt like just hearing you sort of talk through the season, it was a little bit triggering because it was like, I remember halfway through the year, I thought, what a wasted year. We had all the pieces and it just felt like it wasn't going to happen. And then it's the way we finished that year and into the finals and and leading the match halfway through or into that last quarter of the prelim. I thought, here we go, we're going to be in a grand final finally. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. The footy gods conspired against us, Jake, and we had to have what feels like an eternity, about 9 months off until the next season starts. It's a bit like, unlike the AFL men's, where 6 months, that's bad enough, but the AFL women have just had to wait for so long to have another crack at it. Hopefully, they'll come out round one with fire in their eyes and ready to put the hurt on Melbourne to get off to a 1-0 start.
Absolutely. Johnny, there was a lot of development last year. Obviously, it's been a process from when Dan Lowther took over. I mean, the first season that the Chaps were doing podcasts, that was a slog of a year. I think the Cats won 2 games, were frequently blown off the park. Dan Lowther's sort of tightened everything up. They've brought good players in. What are maybe 1 or 2 things, Johnny, that stuck out to you in 2023 as real highlights that show the progress of how far we've come?
Mainly the culture of the Cats. You could really see that starting to just seep into the women's side and just overtake that ideal of we are Geelong. We are a team that is of one mind, of winning, being a winning team, being a winning culture. And they really grabbed that with all their hands as a team, as a unit. And you could really see they bonded and gelled really well with Dan. And he also just got him playing as one, as a team going forward, going for the finals, playing for each other, not playing for themselves. And you can see it's worked in the off season as well, with basically every Cat re-signing. Like all the major ball winners, all the major key figures have stayed on at the Cats, which just shows how invested and how united they are. And that's the one that stood out for me. It was just the intense belief that they can do it, and Dan instilled that into them, and then the culture, and then just the idea of playing together, having a great time. And you could see that. It was said in the men's season, when the men's are having fun out there, they're playing really good football, and you could see that with the women as well. Once they were having fun together out on the field, they were absolutely killing teams. And yeah, same as Ben, that prelim final, definitely still not over it. Just reading about it again, hearing you talking about it, definitely brought up those rage in fueled moments throughout that game that I don't know, I've never ended a game feeling more hatred, more angry, more frustrated, and more just heartbroken for a team. I was just like so bitterly disappointed for the women's team, and I think they're going to carry that on and use it as fuel for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Sambo, were there any sort of things that stood with you? I suppose, we've sort of talked about the journey in general, the culture of it, etc. Did anything stand out to you in terms of like schematically, tactically, how the Cats played in 2023, like the approach of their game style? Was there anything different, or did they just do the same things but better?
I think they did a bit of both. Of course, you got to keep improving the fundamentals and getting all that stuff working, getting that ticking along. But I think there was sort of a mentality shift as well, from being a team that's improving to being a team that's going to take games away from the opposition. I think their attacking mentality improved a lot. I think their sort of off-ball structure and support of each other as well was something that came along. Whereas, when a fledgling team starting out or a player starting out, you can have that mentality of, get the ball, get rid of the ball, my job's done, sort of thing. That's a really easy thing to let sort of seep in. Whereas I think the Cats really got to this great moment where they were starting to work for each other beyond just once they'd kicked it or hand passed it. So you're actually seeing these really good passages of play, these connections up the flanks. And I think that all sort of combined for this much more, for want of a better word, sort of cutthroat approach. Because the previous year we'd talked to some of the players when we'd interview them about there seemed to be this little sort of blocker between being competitive and actually being able to put the other team away and get over the line just in a match, let alone a season. And I thought that was last season was really that switch from just being competitive and being able to keep up versus actually being able to sort of put the foot on the throat and finish off a game.
Yeah, I think you guys were present for one of those big sort of coming out parties for the Cats. I don't know if it was the season before or it was last season. Just an absolute obliteration. I think it was of the Saints down at Cardinia Park. The Cats just threw the shackles off, and it was that game in whichever season that was that we thought there's that change happening before our eyes from a team that's under Dan Lowther early. It was like we need to get into our corner, weather some punches, gather our strength, and then we can come out and start swinging our own blows. And I feel like that's what 2023 was in a big way. Coaching staff wise, speaking of Dan Lowther, it's consistency, at least according to the Cats website, less than a week out from the start of play. They've still got the same Dan Lowther at senior coach, Andrew Bruce, who we interviewed when he was the head coach of the VFLW side back during the Rona times. He's coaching the forwards. We've got Josh Finch coaching the midfields. Elise Coventry is the coach of the defence. Now, she's also the current coach of the VFLW senior team. So a bit of sort of continuity there. And you've also got David Morgan as the development coach. I don't want to sort of get bogged down too much there. There's only so much we can talk about from a coaching perspective. And I think we've already sort of touched on it a little bit with how Dan Lowther's changed things. So let's jump into some departures and arrivals. We're going to start with the goodbyes. And Sambo, going to come to you first here. If we look at the outs here, just getting around the buttons here, we've got our producer off tonight. Producer Colin is off somewhere else, bit under the weather. He's going to want out of his 7-year contract soon, Colin. So these are the departures. We've got Erin Hoare, we've got Sammy Gooden and Olivia Fuller. 3 rucks depart the Cats. We've got Renee Gehring retiring, Annabelle Johnson off to the Eagles, Mia Skinner and Ingrid Hootsma delisted. Just off that list, Sambo, who's the most significant one that stands out to you, or maybe the one that you're saddest to see go?
I mean, all of them, really. I was going to say, I may let you speak about Annabelle Johnson, if I'm correct in thinking you might want to have a word about that one. Would I be correct in thinking that, Jake?
Go for whoever you want. I'm fine. I can pivot.
Well, I'm going to go with Renee Gehring. I thought that she had really, like, obviously she'd been a stalwart. She wasn't like she was a new player. We got to see plenty of her, but I really felt like she was doing really good things and had sort of started playing possibly better than we'd seen her before. Sort of finished on a high, I suppose. But from my recollection, and it is a bit of a hazy recollection, I'll be honest, she was really starting to rack up some of the votes towards the sort of back half of last year, wasn't she? From us, from our point of view, like she really started to fire on all cylinders. So not at all questioning her decision to depart, for personal reasons, or just couldn't handle it anymore. There was too much of a toll on the body. But I feel like, considering she was there for 7 years, I feel like I'd really only just started to appreciate how good she could be and how much of a presence she could be around the ball. So yeah, it's maybe a bit of an odd one to pick out as the one that sort of I'm most sad to see go, because she did get a fair crack. But yeah, I felt like it had only just begun.
Yeah, no, totally get what you mean. Watched her play VFLW last year. She was an absolute beast for that side. Johnny, which player to you here stands out as one that you're most fascinated by the departure?
Well, as Sam was saying, you were always talking up Annabelle Johnson, so I think I'll leave Annabelle Johnson to you. She was always one of your favourites, and you're always talking a good word about her, so I'll leave her to you. I'm going to say Olivia Fuller. I feel like she was really starting to hit her strides last year for the Cats. Was really doing some really good stuff in that ruck. I'm pretty sure she could kicked a few goals here and there throughout the season. It was just really good presence for the Cats up in the forward line, the midfield, and the ruck. So it's a shame that she's not with the Cats, but she's pursuing a career in the Air Force as a firefighter. So that's pretty exciting for her. So you're not begrudging her at all. You can't begrudge a player pursuing something that they obviously got big dreams of. So it's sad to see her go, and we'll definitely miss her. But it's only on to better things for herself. So all the best to her, and we'll definitely miss seeing her in the hoops.
Yeah, for sure. Ben, who is it? Who are you saddest to say farewell to?
Well, Sambo, I was going to go Renee Gehring as well. Funnily enough, I think she's fantastic.
Please add more. I'm sure you can add some more eloquent thoughts than I had.
Less from a footy sense, but every time I see her, I just smile. Like she just seems has this energy, this warmth to her. I just think all the players just absolutely love her. You can tell, and I'm so glad that the Cats have kept her on. So I think they're gradually introducing her to some of that match day public announcer side type work. So hopefully she stays involved in some capacity. I get why she had to leave. I mean, you got at some point, everybody has to put their family first, and she made a call to probably finish her career. I think she could have gone a couple more years, but you've got a career outside of football, and you've got a family as well. So I understand that. But yes, and I won't steal Annabelle Johnson either, Jake. But I will say, I do like the name Hootsma. That's a great footy name. So it's a shame we didn't see more of Hootsma. Get changes to the Hootsma crew if she ever comes back, or I don't know. But anyway, I like a good footy name. Clearly, a good footy name. Wiley Buzzer, all that.
Absolutely, Hoots in the Hoops would have been great. There's a whole branding opportunity there that's been overlooked. Would have been a good one for the crowd too. Hoots. And a shame, I guess, for Sammy Good and Ingrid Hootsma. Two players who never got to debut for the Cats at AFLW level. I watched them a bit at VFLW level. Annabelle Johnson. I'm very sad to see her go. I believe, it's just an interesting one because I think she's an Echuca girl. I think so. Not necessarily from Perth. Maybe I don't know, but whatever the case, best of luck to her because she was an absolute jet down back for the Cats for a couple of seasons. Then was sort of hobbled a bit by injury. I think it's tricky because in that season where she was injured, other players stepped up. Then new players, Chantal Eamonson for one came in. Claudia Gunjaka moved from forward to down back. So in some ways she was squeezed out, but the West Coast are getting a hell of a player. Obviously a big thank you to Erin Hoare, who moves into retirement in order to spend more time with family. Thanks for your efforts last year, helping take us to a prelim. So those are the departures. Now we're going to sort of snake here. I'm going to try and bring up the rear in general. So I'll go back to you here, Ben. The ins, we've got Bella Smith, joins from Brisbane as part of a three-way trade, a bit of a midfielder. Kate Kenny from County Offaly, highly successful Irish dual sport athlete. Chantal Mason, big forward, highly exciting stint in the VFLW this season. She joins from the draft. Bridie O'Rourke, a tall, athletic mid, a father-daughter selection, also joins via the draft. Caitlin Thorne, we poached her from Box Hill, plays through the halfback and midfield. And Lily Pearce is a ruck signing after the Olivia Fuller, Erin Hoare, Sammy Gooden sort of ruck spots opened. Spent some time on the Tigers list in 2023. But which one of those are you most excited to talk about here tonight?
I will say, Caitlin Thorne, you've got to win a game or two for us because you've come over from Hawthorn or Box Hill, so it's going to take a little while to warm to you. I'm not going to lie.
Yes,
but no, it's a different thing. Men's and women's comps. Still, Bridie O'Rourke for me. Everything I've seen from her, just the draft night or draft day, just the excitement on her face, just seeing her get out in there, the intensity, those eyes when she attacks the footy, and she just seems to be in that clique of those really elite players, the Prasparkases, the McDonalds, that and the Nina Morrisons, they've just wrapped their arms around her, and I just feel like I'm really excited to see what she does this year, but probably more in the next couple of years to see what kind of a player she turns into. Chantel Mason, I think we know that she's going to be an absolute star, but I think for me it's Bridie and what she can become. I'm very excited to see what this year brings, at least for the first part of her career.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. John Doe, is there a name
Yeah.
that sort of sticks out to you there that you're like, oh, I'm intrigued, I'm fascinated, I'm excited?
Yes, Kate Kenny. I'm just if she's going to be anything like Aisling Maloney, it's just exciting. Exciting to see the Irish players coming to the Cats and coming to the Cats in numbers as well. But I think the more the Irish influencer is at the Cats, the better, because they bring a lot of fun, a lot of energy. They bring obviously the absolute excellent skill from Gaelic football or the hurling or whatever sports they've come from over in Ireland. But I just feel there's just something special about Irish players. They just add just that little bit more excitement, that little bit more flair, that little bit more pizzazz. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what she can do, because Ashley Maloney came over and added all that straight away and in droves. So it's only going to help settle, like having a couple Irish, Monty and Ashleen here already. I think Kenny's going to be able to settle pretty quickly and find a flow of AFLW really quickly and succeed. I'm just excited, and I'm very excited to see her out there, hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can throw Anna Rose Kennedy in there as well, another county,
that's
Tipperary.
true.
There's 4 Irish women on the AFLW list. Sambo, what about you as we snake back to your direction?
Probably Lily Pierce. Partly because just with the ruck situation as it is, it's I'm going to be watching Pierce with real interest, because it's clearly a hole in the team that needs filling. So just purely for first of all from that point of view, the fact that it's a gap in the side at the moment. So there's going to be, I guess, a lot of pressure on those players that are, if it's her stepping straight in to fill it completely, or if there's a few pinch hitters, or however it's going to be set up, there's going to be a lot of interest on that position. But just specifically from Lily Pierce, from those highlights, she looks like she's going to be really, really promising. She seems to have a really strong kind of presence. Like it's something that's can be taken for granted a little bit. But those really tall players that have the height to bring in and be able to perform the ruck role sort of adequately, they don't often always have that sort of strength of body and the center of gravity. Whereas from what I've seen of her, she seems to have a really good sort of base and ability to sort of launch from strength. And as well as her kicking looks like she's got a really strong direct kick as well. So I don't know a lot, but just from the point of view that's a real area that we need to make sure we address. And just from what I've seen of her, she looks like she could be a really promising addition.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I got to watch her a little bit in the AFLW preseason game, and I sort of I had exactly the same sort of takeaways. I think she's potentially got the upside to grow into the best ruck that Geelong AFLW have had, perhaps ever. I think she has tremendous upside. Now, you've got to reach it, obviously. She's spent some time previously on an AFLW list, but super, super talented. I'm going to talk about Chantel Mason, mainly because I've watched her a lot in the VFLW season. She is like a certified star in the making. Just a really hard-working, tall forward, great hands, whether that's, uncontested or contested, just clunks marks out of the air. With exceptional hand strength. But as I said, just the work rate too. Like, she gets up to provide that marking link in the chain, further up the ground. Just tireless in that sense. And then inside forward 50, she's absolutely deadly, whether it's from set shots or taking on, more creative opportunities from open play. Chantel Mason, I think she was sort of performing a bit in Aisling Maloney's shadow in the preseason. And let's face it, that's a pretty massive shadow, and it will be a shadow that lingers this season as well. But there's an opportunity with Chloe Shear on the injury list, as we're about to talk about, for a player like Chantel Mason to really step in as that sort of second banana behind Aisling Maloney. And I think she could flourish, particularly if she draws like the second or third best defender in that forward line. She might absolutely eat in the first half of this season. So, yeah, very excited for that. Oh, let's call the ambulance. We've got some injuries to talk about. Only one significant one, really. There was some doubt over Georgie Prasparkas, a quad strain in training. She's now been cleared for round 1 selection. Darcy Maloney missed some practice stuff, a practice match with a foot injury, but has now been cleared as well. Chloe Shear's the one, folks. She's going to miss the start of this season. She's undergone a successful toe surgery, but there's some talk that she may miss the first half of the season. Sambo, I'll probably just go to you on this one as we snake back in the other direction, because of where I want to keep it sort of moving. How much concern do you have with Shear being out? Do you think we've got the depth to cope with it? Where's your danger scale at?
I mean, I don't know, my danger scale's being tipped. My disappointment scale is certainly high. Like, I think, Shear is such an exciting player to watch when she's on fire. And obviously brings something to the team that we don't really have a like for like. So I would say we don't have the depth in terms of, we don't just have Chloe Shear B that we can just put in there and do exactly the same things. But I think with the makeup of the squad that we've got, I think we can still cover it as far as, avenue to goal. Aisling Maloney's, was already sort of starting to set things on fire last season. And from what I understand, and as you just alluded to, she's only getting better. So I think we're okay. Parry obviously kicked a fairly few handy goals last year as well. So yeah, I think we've got the depth to cover it, but I don't think we have anyone to specifically replace that thing that Chloe Shear brings, that sort of strength and power driving out of the square, or even when she dropped back and played sort of in the midfield last year, she was really quite dynamic. And I remember us saying last year that it was almost a bit of a case of a Tom Stewart, where you want Tom Stewart halfback and in the middle. You kind of wanted Chloe Shear receiving the kicks from Chloe Shear. So we don't really have another direct replacement, but I have a lot of faith in the squad and some of the other sort of avenues to goal that were emerging that I'm hoping we've just only improved on in the off season.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, I guess, where if you wind back 18 months to, more like 2 years, 18 months ago is about the length of time we've had to wait for a second season. Like this would have, shook me to my core a little bit more, but I feel like they've done such a good job from recruitment and development. The Cats, we're just so much deeper. Like you go across the whole list and you sort of go, even if we had to deal without a Prasparkas or a Morrison or an Amy McDonald, like there's a lot of depth there to step in for them. Ben, going to come to you here. We talk about depth. We talk about building the experience of the squad. You're right across the milestones in 2024. I know you put up great media posts on the Hoops crew for the AFL men's season. Who's up to this many games and goals? Who's going to cross some milestones in the AFLW in 2024?
Jake, we've got heaps of milestones this year. They're all pretty much that 50-game milestone. So I'll just go through all the 50-game milestones now. I haven't actually done the full homework to tell you which round it's going to be in, but as we know with injuries, that can go out the window anyway. But I'll go through the names of who's going to play 50 games. We've got Kate Sermon, Chloe Shear. Not sure if she'll hit that now, but I don't think she was far off. Kate Darby, Georgie Rankin, Amy McDonald, Julia Crockett-Grills, Becky Webster, Chantal Eamonson, and Megatron, Meg McDonald, the skipper, is going to play 50 games in the hoops. I think she started, was it with the Dogs, early days? Yeah. So 50 games in the hoop, which will be great. And Georgie Prasparkas, we're going with the 25-game milestones because clearly it's the women's season's half as long as the men's. And Chloe Shear, again, maybe I'm not too sure, but she's a possibility of a 50-goal milestone as well. So there's a couple there. I may have missed one or two. Hopefully we'll get a few debutantes as well. That'll be good to celebrate.
Yeah.
Hopefully round one. If we can get Chantal and Brodie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing, reading off those 50 gamers and that the depth of experience, like it just grows every year. And it's good that they're not just the players that have come in from other clubs like Chantal Eamonson, like Chloe Shear, like Kate Sermon. It's also some homegrown talent like Georgie Rankin, like Amy McDonald, Julia Crockett-Grills, Becky Webster, etc., who have, spent their whole career so far down at the Cattery. It's now time to go to one of our favourite floors of the Hoops Crew building, and that is the Stonks floor. Now, normally this is a segment we do on the Chaps Chat Cats, but we're bringing it to the broader, the Hoops Crew. So, Ben, welcome to the Stonks floor. Going to start off here, Johnny. I've switched the order up a bit. Johnny, you're going to go first here. And for anyone who hasn't watched or listened before, we're talking about who we are buying Stonks in. And our job here is to bring to you a player that we go, their value's here right now, but you need to get on board this train because either they're an unknown commodity that's going to soar. There may be a blue blood, blue chip stonk that maybe had a down year last year, but they're going to skyrocket now. Johnny, who have you got for us on the style? Johnny's even got his Stonks background ready.
I've got my Stonks background. I was ready.
So who is it, Johnny? Who's going to the moon?
It's a tough one because they're all going to the moon, obviously. This team is primed and pumped and just set for an awesome year, and I really can't wait. But I'm going with Aisling Maloney. She came in last year, had a really, really good year, like outstanding year. And I tell you what, I feel like I've just got a feeling she's going to explode yet again this year and just do some absolutely remarkable, freakish stuff. So, as Ben said, it's been 9 months since the last game the AFLW had a game. So the Stonks are relatively low on all the players. And especially like new players like Aisling Maloney and Monty and Anna Rose Kennedy, all these players that didn't like Kennedy. I don't think she played a game last. No, she played a couple games.
One. Debuted in the prelim.
Yep.
So Aisling Maloney, I feel like it's the right time to buy now. As I said, it's been a while. It's cooled a bit on her, so buy up now because I feel like it's going to be a skyrocketing year for Aisling Maloney.
I just second that before I flick to you, Ben, for your inaugural Stonks pick. But just to say on Aisling Maloney, she was sensational last year. I reckon, Johnny, you're on the right track. I think if all things are even and she goes where I think she's going to go, I think it's all Australian sort of honours and ending the season ranked as one of the 10 best players in the comp. Ben, where have you found value? You've been deep in the Stonks research. You've been on the phone, Beijing, London, all around the globe. Where are you directing us with your Stonks pick here?
I have to say, I hope Aisling Maloney pays off for you, John, because I reckon she's worth Apple stock at the moment. She's absolutely she's worth a fair bit. If she can go up another couple, that'd be great. For me, I feel like I've just kept bringing this name up the whole time, but I think the AFLW world probably doesn't know what we've got in Brodie O'Rourke, and I think she is going to catapult herself into superstardom very, very soon. And I think if you're keen, if you're serious about your Stonks, you'll get on round 1, people. Don't wait till round 7 or round 8. It's too late. You've got to get on Brodie round 1. She's going to or she's ready to explode. I'm telling you now. I reckon as soon as round 1, we'll see like a 20 possession game from her and maybe kick a goal or two. That's how confident I am in her. If she's watching, please do that. That'd be great. Hello, Bridie. No, I think I'm ready to go. I'm absolutely ready for her to explode this year, and I'll be back here in 6 months' time saying I told you so.
Looking forward to
I
it.
love it. One of us, Ben. Now a Stonks, a Stonks miner. He's a Stonks extractor. He just goes into, the cavernous research department and pulls that one out. I like it. Bridie O'Rourke, midfield. Love that she's tall and can also sort of drift forward and provide a marking opportunity. Sambo, one of the grey beard Stonks evaluators at the company. You've been here a long time. Your name is on the front of the building. Where are you going?
Well, there's so many ways that we could go here. As is the just the beauty of the Stonk system. There's just never a dull moment. There is no wrong calls really, except for the ones that lose you a lot of money. Maybe they're wrong calls. But I'm gonna go with Rachel Kearns. I think I actually thought Johnny might have picked me to this one, so I'm quite happy that he that he passed over old Monty.
Well,
Kearns.
Monty.
Yeah, but I think she's had there was a bit of buzz when she came over to the Cats. There's a bit of excitement, and there was just, as is very customary with not only changing teams, not only changing sports codes, but changing country. She took a little while to find her feet, and then was cruelly sort of hampered by a pretty major injury. I'm not gonna
tackle.
I will be
punished.
honest. I will be honest with the whole season A and B. I can't exactly pinpoint in my mind whereabouts she got injured, but I know there was a long stretch there in one of those seasons that occurred in the same year.
I remember that tackle, and I'm still
it was
extremely
rubbish.
annoyed that
Absolutely brutal.
that player got off for that tackle. That was utterly ridiculous.
Yeah. That's all part of the narrative that's forming around Rachel Kearns being, I think, she's not going to probably, make you back millions and millions of dollars here, but I think she is bound to increase her value, because I think her value is so low for what she can bring. Like, there's still not really a lot of talk around her, I don't find. And from my very reliable source, who may or may not be in this chat right now, I've been told that she's set to absolutely tear a new one. We know the power she has. We know the speed she has, the competitive spirit she brings. But what was inevitable from the start, it was just a matter of when she would get those fundamentals and that game sense and that experience behind her to really use those things in a truly effective and damaging way. And I believe this may be the year where she really puts the pieces together.
Nice.
Absolutely. I love it. Watched her in the AFLW preseason. She looked like an absolute weapon off the half back line. Her kicking, her attack on the footy, her read of the game is just night and day to where it was. I think, I'd just offer a little sprinkling onto what you've said there. Like, if you were someone who bought up big when she first got here, and you're like, she plummeted with the injury and just not finding a spot, and you're like, I'm left holding all this, Rachel Kearns stonk. Well, be glad that you've held it, because it's now going to soar back in value. And if you got off, maybe you need to get back on now before that price is too rich for you. I've got a couple of ways I could go. I've told people Kate Kenny is going to be a star. I think she will. I think Chantel Mason, but I've put those out there in the ether already. So I'm going to say Lily Pearce. We've just been talking about her. I really do think it's an environment in which she may play a lot year one. I think Kate Darby is the only other obvious person to go in the ruck, but they like using Kate Darby in other spots as well. So it's just like, it's a meeting of player and role, where it's not like there's three players competing for that spot. It's like Kate Darby and then who pinch hits. So I think in a lot of ways, you'll actually see the reverse. You'll see Lily Pearce come in, start day one, and Kate Darby to be that pinch hitting ruck. I think that's the situation I could imagine. So I'm going to jump on board the Lily Pearce Stonks train, because with that midfield around her, if they get a highly effective tap ruck, I think this Cats midfield, this Cats stoppage situation, can't get the words out. I'm so excited. It's gonna be electric. All right, we're rattling along. Speaking of trains, we're going to get onto the fixture, make some predictions, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. So the fixture looks like this, folks. In 2024, I've got to get rid of that because otherwise Johnny's not on the screen. What's happening here? All right, so starts off this Saturday. Saturday at 7:15 p.m. down at Cardinia Park against Melbourne. Then we're off to Arden Street Oval to take on North Melbourne, a side we still haven't beaten. Then up to Icon Park to take on the Blues on Saturday, September 14th. Saturday, September 21st, we go up to the Gold Coast to People First Stadium to take on the Suns. After 3 weeks on the road, we are back on September 26th. Just a 5-day break between that Suns game and hosting the Hawthorn Hawks down at Cardinia Park, 7:15 p.m. Thursday, September 26th. Tuesday, October the 1st. What are we doing? What is happening? We're going from Thursday to Tuesday. Week 6, the Cats host the Fremantle Dockers at Cardinia Park, 7:15 p.m. on a Tuesday night, October 6th. This is insane. Just 5 days later, Week 6, Part B. This is up there with the AFL's innovations of Round Zero. They take on the Swans up in Sydney. 6 days later, it's back to the Swinburne Centre to take on the Tigers. 8 days later, finally, a week and a bit of break. The Cats host the Brisbane Lions before finishing out the season with games against the Eagles over at Mineral Resources Park. What a lovely romantic sort of name, just evokes classic football memories.
Playing in a quarry at the bottom.
Yeah, that's right. Amongst the limestone. And then we finish the season against the Adelaide Crows down at Cardinia Park. Those are all 11 games. Couple of things that stand out for me, folks. Brutal opening month. Home against the D's, who were second on the ladder. Then a trio of away trips against third place North Melbourne. Carlton, who were 12th, but then could pick up. The Suns, who were 5th. And then the Hawks down at KP in a 3 games in 12 days stretch. 3 games in 12 days. Ben, going to come to you first. This is ridiculous, isn't it? This is absurd fixturing, right?
Yes, but you watch, Jake. We'll go 4-0, and then the rest of the season is just absolutely set up, and we'll steamroll into that top 4. And along the way, we'll become the Tuesday night specialists of the AFLW. Watch. We'll be the envy of the competition. Now, look, it's going to be a good test, but at least we'll see where we're at. There's a few new faces, as we've talked about, and we'll see how they fit in with the rest of the group. We'll see who Dan and the rest of the coaches choose to be in our best team. I suppose that they might try a few options in the first couple of months until the finals comes around. I assume we're going to make it based on last year's performances, but you're right. It's a very tough month to start with, but I don't mind it. I think if we can get through it, it's onwards and upwards from there on. Not to say that any game's easy. It's such a short season. You drop one, and it's like dropping 2 in the men's comp. It's they're worth so much on the line for these games.
Yeah.
And if you win them, geez, it feels twice as good sometimes because you know how much it's worth. I hope we do. I hope we win about 3 out of 4 of the first.
Yeah, no, I feel like a good start is so important. Even splitting 2 and 2 in your first month is, at least you go then into the rest of it sort of off an even platform. But as you said, a win is worth 2, and a loss sort of damages you the same as 2 would in the men's comp. Just quick fire here. Sambo, what's the game on the fixture you're most looking forward to? I mean, obviously we're all keen for round one, but is there someone there? Is there a matchup that you're like, yes, can't wait for that. Can't wait to sink our teeth in.
I know what you're going to say. I can already tell.
Do you? You might know me too well. I don't know. There's a few, but I actually the one I'm going to pick is based on something that we've mentioned already. We've said it's it's a fresh start with the women's competition, all that. I'm looking forward to making this Hawks rivalry just as bitter and, and brutal as the one in the men's. You knew it.
I'm
You
already
knew what I
there,
was
Sam.
going with. Stuff
I'm already
with
there.
new beginnings and positivity. Once a scum, always a scum.
Yep. Hey, it's the Cats team are just one. There's no men's or women's
That's
team.
right.
It's one.
One club.
It's the same with the other club. So, it's unfortunate for the women's side of the Hawthorn, but
Yep.
they've been tainted by the scum as well.
That's right.
just how it
They've
goes.
inherited it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
that
love
one.
it. You boys are nothing if not consistent.
Yep.
Johnny, do you have an alternate place that you want to go, or is it the same game?
I've been looking at all these games, and they're all exciting that the Cats are playing in them, absolutely. But there's no opposition that I go, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that game because I just think like the men's, I just think the Cats can win every game that they're going to play. So I will say though, the one that does stick out the most that would give us a lot of joy would be the North Melbourne one.
Yeah.
Beat North Melbourne for the first time and really, I think that could put a big statement on the AFLW season as well because they've been touted as such a powerhouse of the competition for so long without a premiership. So, it'd be good to put some more misery into their souls and, then their other team isn't going that well. So, let's just pile on a bit more misery for the North Melbourne fans.
So dark.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. Make sure you tune
We
into the
keep things
Chat
positive
Cats
here.
twice a week to get this sort of. Yeah.
We're positive about the
I'll
Cats,
just
but
couple of
no
quick
one
thoughts.
else.
I think the Melbourne game is going to be way more hostile than anyone gives it credit for. I think Melbourne are stinging after the way we beat them in the finals. I think it's going to be on from bounce one. I think that is going to be an incredibly ferocious game. The other one I'll just point to, because you chaps have covered the ones I probably would have gone to myself. The final game of the season, home against the Crows. If all goes as we think it should, if form dictates how these things will fold out for both clubs, that could be a really significant game in determining the order of where both sides are finishing in finals. So, yeah, I think that could be a hotly contested game, the last game of the home and away season before we get into the stuff that really matters. All right, we've made our way through. We're going to get this ship landed in under an hour. We've got 12 minutes to do, less than 12 minutes. We've got 11 minutes to land it under an hour.
Let me just raise a point.
We're going to do
really
We go the fixture and talk about that.
yeah, let's talk collective bargaining agreement. 2024 Cats predictions. Chaps, let's go through these. We'll all give our most improved player first. We don't have to, put a lot of explanation as to why, but if you want to offer a couple of sentences, feel free. Johnny, going to come to you first, then Sambo, then Ben, and then I'll give you mine. Who's your most improved player, do you reckon, by the end of 2024?
I'm going with Monty Kearns.
I like it. Rach Kearns down back. Who did I say next? Sambo?
So just quickly, so you're saying by the end of the season, who is going to improve the most across this season?
Yeah, who are we going to look back on and go, wow, they were the most improved?
I'd have to go with Lily Pierce then. I mean, I picked her out as the exciting recruit. You picked her out as one to buy Stonks. I think she's poised to it's all on her. This isn't to say she 100% will, but if she wants it, then I think she's poised to have a real standout opening salvo.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Ben, where are you going? Most improved?
I should copy Johnny because he's a master at this stuff. Picking Geelong men's to finish third this year. I'm going to go.
Did you hear about that?
I also had another one.
Yeah.
I also had another prediction. I didn't say it in the podcast, but I also predicted Richmond would not be any good this year.
Well done.
I told Jake that, and he can back me up.
It's not the words you
Okay.
used at the time, but this is a public show, so we'll keep
All right. Well, I'm going to go Chucky Plummer. I reckon. I think she's battled away a little bit. Didn't get many opportunities last year, and I think she's just about ready. They've made her work hard for it, and I think she's ready to pop. So keep an eye on Brooke Chucky Plummer.
Love that one.
Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. She was a player we used to talk about a lot in her first season at the Cats. Hasn't had that opportunity yet, or hasn't grasped it when it's arrived yet. But I love that pick. I think that's a really, really good one. There's a couple of directions I can go, and I went last, so I should already be decided. But I'm not. I know. I'm actually going to go a bit left of field here, and I don't know if this is the most improved player or just a player who's going to find an even better fit. I'm going with Michaela Bowen. Like, she's already a terrific player for the Cats, but they actually have been playing her more inside the forward 50 and like half forward during the preseason. She laid a couple of brilliant holding the ball tackles during the preseason game I watched. I even feel like with Chloe Shear out, she is a player whose creativity and pressure inside forward 50 could see her take her importance to the team to another level. So I'm going to go with Michaela Bowen. This one will rattle off quick fire, and we'll just sort of go round the horn a couple of times. Just one each, all Australians. So, Ben, you can start us off here. Just name one player you reckon is going to be an all-Australian for the Cats by end of the year, and it can be obvious ones too.
I won't go the obvious one. I'm going to go Ashley Maloney. She's just got back in the country in the last few weeks. She's ready to go. She will kick, 35 goals. That's a lot.
Oh,
I'm going big. I'm going big.
Hey, you go big.
Sambo, where are you going? All Australian?
I mean, I was going to go the obvious one, but I'll try not to.
Good. I'll take the obvious one.
Good. I'm going to go with Claudia Kunjaka. If she can play the way she played last year and improve upon it, I think she could be a real standout key defender.
Nice.
Yep. I love it. Johnny, where are we going?
I'm going the obvious choice.
I pinched it.
Yeah. But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? She's an absolute incredible player, and she's going to have another incredible year. I'm not going to say who the obvious choice is because our listeners should bloody well know who that is.
It's Amy McDonald, for those who might be tuning in for the first time. So I just feel like, people are tuning in. They're like, "Who is this?"
I'll soon find out.
Amy McDonald. That's right. They should. I'm going to go.
You ruined it for later episodes, Jake.
I know. I'm sorry. I gave away the plot twist. It's a tough one. I'm going to say I'm going to go with the other one that I think is a bit of an obvious one. Maybe not. I'm going to go Nina Morrison. I say Nina Morrison is one of our all-Australian candidates. Might not make the team. I don't know. It depends on the mix of midfielders. It's hard to crack in the midfield section, but I'm going to go Nina Morrison. Gemma Bastiani, whose opinion is one I trust a lot. Watched both the match sim and I believe the preseason game and rave reviews about how Nina Morrison was going about it. So I'm going to go with Nina Morrison. I think we'd all agree that Georgie Prasparkas would be a pretty obvious.
That was yeah.
I'll be Georgie.
To be honest, I thought I'll be absolutely honest. I had forgotten. Not forgotten, but I was the one. I was thinking of Georgie Prasparkas when I said the obvious ones. I just thought that she would absolutely crack in because she's not. Obviously, Amy McDonald is our obvious choice for votes here in this crew, but I felt like Prasparkas was absolute. I don't know. I feel like she's an absolute lock for all Australia.
Oh yeah,
She's the Tom
Definitely.
Stewart of the AFLW
Yeah.
side. She basically just fronts up and wins it every time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, most definitely.
I love it. Let's go quickly. Leading goal kicker, who is it? We know Chloe Shear's missing the first half of the season. Johnny, I'll let you go first. Who kicks most?
I'm going Jacqueline Perry. I reckon she's going to skyrocket in that forward line without Chloe Shear around. I feel like it's a big opportunity for her to take this first half with both hands and really drive the Cats to some glorious victories.
Sambo, where are you going? Most goals?
Don't have to be different, but I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna go with Parry.
I love
Nice.
it. I love it. Ben,
yeah.
does someone kick more than 35?
No one kicks more than 35. But I will add, Maloney will kick a bag of 6 at some point.
Nice. 2 big calls from Ben.
I love it.
Yeah.
She could
I like it.
absolutely do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it a 2v2 here and say I'm going with Aisling Maloney as well. I still think Chloe Shear
Lucky I
might come
didn't
in
go
and finish
different.
second or third because I feel like she's going to have big bags of goals when she comes back. So that's the way we're going there. 2 for Parry, 2 for Aisling Maloney. Club best and fairest. Go to you first, Ben, here. Who takes out the BNF award?
Same again. Maloney takes it out. You can't kick 35 goals. And I mean, I know there'll be a close competition with her and Prez and McDonald, and maybe Nemo will step up another level this year. But yeah, it's Maloney for me. She'll absolutely dominate the competition, and with the every other club will be like, how do you find these people? It's amazing. So yeah, Maloney easily. Well, not easily, but maybe by a few votes.
Sambo?
Well, this is mostly just to work in talking about a player that I just didn't pick for any of my other categories, and I wanted to give her a mention. So I don't know if she's going to win the club best and fairest or not, but she may. I still think this is still my future captain, in my opinion. So I'm going with Rebecca Webster. I think she's someone that probably gets more recognition within the club than outside of the club, and that's why I think she probably is a little more of a chance to be a club best and fairest than in the All Australian. And yeah, I do think that her work around like off the ball amongst the team with everybody is one of her greatest assets, and that's one of the reasons I think she may be a future captain or vice captain.
Cool.
So yeah, I think at some point along the line here, I think she's going to win a best and fairest for her efforts around the team.
Nice.
Johnny, who are you going? BNF?
I was thinking the obvious choice because she's obviously won it the last 3-4 times in a row. But I'm going to go quite left out of field this time, and I'm going to say Michaela Bowen is going to win it this year.
Whoa!
I just feel like there's something good about Michaela Bowen. Got a feeling. She's in the leadership team. She's such a team-oriented player. Obviously highly skilled, brings a lot to this team. So yeah, I just feel like it could be one of those years that it's like Becky Webster. Doesn't get much recognition outside of the club, but inside the coaches' boxes and the other administration people, I think, yeah, it could be a big year for her.
Love it. I'm just going to go one of the obvious choices. I'm going to say that Georgie Prasparkas breaks Amy McDonald's stranglehold on the BNF award. I think one of us better pick one of the obvious ones.
She nearly broke
that.
She might
Amy
be very
tight grip hold on the hoops on the chappies before we became the hoops crew. She's got very close.
That's right. Did nearly break that streak of dominance. All right, final quick one. Very quick. Going to go wins. How many games do we win? And where do we finish on the ladder? I'm going to lead us off here. I say we win 8 games. I think we win 8 games, and that is good to finish third. Johnny, how many games do we win? Where do we finish?
I'm going to go one better. We're going to win 9 games, and I reckon top 2.
All right, Sambo.
I'm going to go. I don't think it's pessimistic, but I'm going to go slightly more pessimistic. I'm going to say 7, but we're still going to be pushing the top 4.
Yeah.
Just a quick aside. I just think we talked about that the tough lead into the year, and I think we may drop 2 of those, but I think we'll come out the other side carved out of marble and roll the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't think that's a pessimistic take at all. I think
No.
that this team is very capable of, getting in that somewhere within the range of that like 6 to 9. I would say, depending on how things go, how we cope with injury, the attrition of the season, etc. Ben, where are you going? Where have you got us? How many wins and where do we finish?
I've got us with, I'm going to say 8.5. So there'll be a draw in there somewhere.
Ooh.
I think I want us. I was going to say 8, but I feel like it's somewhere between 8 and 9. So maybe, you know what'll happen? We'll lose. We'll draw with North Melbourne. We still can't beat them. We'll get a draw. We'll draw with North at Arden Street Oval. Very clever name for an oval too, on Arden Street. It's like Moorable Street Oval at Kidderminster Park. But no, 8.5 wins. Probably 4th. I think it'll be some really good teams and some pretty average teams this year.
Yeah, I like that call. I like it a lot. I've liked this episode a lot, is what I've liked. That was your 2024 AFLW season preview. We got so close to getting it in under an hour. But anyway, it's not bad. 61 minutes. It's pretty decent. We hope you've enjoyed watching, listening. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button in your podcast app. Go on over, give the old Patreon channel a whirl with your 7-day free trial. We will be back in your ear holes and in front of your eyeballs in the not too distant future. There's Wednesday news wrap coming out for Patreon subscribers. There's the Thursday preview show, chaps. We're going to have another preview just when you think you get a week off because the men's are on break. No. The work is just beginning. So lots more to come here on the Hoops Crew Media Network. But until next time, you know what to do. Go Cats!
Go Cats!
Go Cats!